Tuesday. It is the 16th of the month of August, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
Oh boy, I hope today's a better day, because yesterday was a little off the wall yesterday, but it was Monday. What do you expect?
It was Monday.
It was Monday all day.
On.
Yeah, coming up the end of this month, on the 29th, there will be at the Wayne Cooperative Extension Wayne Center building at 208 West Chestnut, corner of George and Chestnut, a community collaborative drug conference. And they're holding this conference because every single year, only in North Carolina, 1,000 people die from drug overdose of legal prescription drugs.
In North Carolina.
In North Carolina alone. 1,000 people in North Carolina alone. Let that sink in and think about that. How can this happen? Prescription drugs. So anyway, this is going to be at 9 o'clock until 11 at Wayne Center, corner of George and Chestnut, on the 29th of August. And I hope you're able to attend, because it's a very serious matter.
Sure is. Sure is.
Sure is. And
And
don't forget, this Thursday at Pikeville Dees Park Walk, everybody meets at Railroad Street to go on their Go Wayne Go walk.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. So you think you've got talent. Ha! Of course, it doesn't say ha there. I just threw that in. Ha! On Friday, October 7th, there will be a group of talented people. They say they're talented. At 7 o'clock at the Base Theater. The doors will open at 6:30, and everybody gets to perform. Now, there's two categories, one civilian and one active duty military. So if you want to participate in this, whether it's dance, voice, variety, instrumental, whether it's rap, whether it's dancing, comedian, spoken word, or groups of 5 or less, or other novelty, you need to go to an audition at the Base Theater between 6 and 8 p.m. on September 5th, 7th, and 8th. To register for this talent contest that's to be held on October 7th, that's a Friday, October 7th at 7 o'clock at the Base Theater, talk to Kaivon Williams. Kaivon.Williams is at Kaivon, Kaivone.Williams at us.af.mil.
great fun event.
It is going to be a fun event. Well, let's see what else we have here. What do you have? What is it? We mentioned this yesterday.
Well, we sure did.
Talk about that again, because that's going to be a big one right
Absolutely.
there. And
Coming
there's other things going on too.
Thursday, August the 25th, the Chamber will have the annual Economic Outlook Hot Topic. We're thankful for our presenting sponsor, Wayne County Development Alliance, and the many other sponsors who come together to bring this to the community's forefront. So we're talking about economic development. We're talking about workforce development. We've got a 4-ship of 4 incredible, 5, did you hear that? 4 incredible speakers joining us.
Yeah, I was going to ask you who
we've
came
got
aboard?
Sue Breckenridge with the North Carolina Business Committee for Education. We have Will Collins, who's the Assistant Secretary for NC Commerce and the Executive Director of NC Works. We've got Lou Ebert. He is the President and Executive Director of the North Carolina Chamber. And Greg Wildman here locally from SBX is going to join us. Folks, this panel discussion is going to talk about workforce development and where we've got some gaps in terms of employability skills, or also known as soft skills. Wayne Community College does an incredible job talking about these soft skills. There's a lot of effort to get them back into really push through in the school system. So we want you to be a part of the discussion. We hear you. We hear from business and industry that that is of concern.
It is.
Yes.
It certainly is. So that was, what's the date on that again?
Thursday, August 25th.
August 25th.
If you're a chamber member, your lunch is only $15. If you're not a chamber member, we'd love to talk to you about changing that. And for non-members, it's $25 to attend.
There you go.
Yes.
Yesterday you saw on the program from the Peggy M. Seeger Senior Center the announcement, and I talked to Lisa Barker. Paula Edwards last week announced that Senior Center Information and Options Counselor Lisa Barker received recognition for her outstanding service to Medicare beneficiaries in the southeast area of North Carolina.
That's great.
The whole state, southeast part of North Carolina, she owns it. She was recognized as the Southeast Coordinator of the Year, and gee whiz, are we proud.
That's great.
She represented Wayne County very well, and we're very proud of Lisa Barker. And when you see Lisa at the senior center or out on the street or at the grocery store, say, "Hi, Lisa. Good job."
Yeah.
But she's passionate about what she does for the elderly and for the those who are on Medicare, and she's a good representative for Wayne County indeed.
Very knowledgeable.
She is there.
Very knowledgeable.
Very sharp. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. Kids Fest is coming up September 24th. Kids Fest.
Yes.
This is fun at Berkeley Mall or Berkeley Mall. It's free and open to the public. Now, everybody who attends will learn fire and safety and health tips and enjoy games and educational exhibits. You'll see fire trucks, you'll see ladder trucks and rescue vehicles. Whoa!
Whoa, and you can win prizes!
Prizes?
What?
10 a.m. until 2 p.m., September 24th. You'll also have an opportunity to look at and talk to folks about a photo ID kit, a self-defense demonstration, a child safety seat inspection, face painting, balloon artists, hands-on activities, all kinds, with music and dance and storytelling and entertainment on stage, in the mall, and in the parking lot at Berkeley Mall. Sponsored by the Wayne County Health Department and the Goldsboro Fire Department. Win prizes, Kids Fest, September 24th, 10 till 2. Whee!
Fun, fun.
Till Daddy takes the T-Bird away. I mean, really. That's something else. Sorry. Goldsboro will be the site of 2 blood drives this week. One is Thursday, one is Saturday. The one Thursday is at Lowe's from 10:30 in the morning until 3. The one Saturday is at Berkeley Mall. That's at 11 a.m. till 3:30 in the p.m. Also on Mount Olive on Thursday, in Mount Olive on Thursday at the Town Depot on West Main Street from 1:30 until 6 p.m.
That's right. So if you are able, please donate blood.
Save 3 lives.
That's right.
We're going to go to our interview now. We'll be back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Our guests today include Dane Beavers, and Dane is the director of the Board of Elections here in Wayne County. Dane, how you doing?
Good morning, Wayne. Good.
We want to welcome Ann Risku-Smith, right? How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you, Ann. Now, what do you do? Why are you hanging around this guy?
I'm the Deputy Director of the Wayne County Board of Elections.
Well, there you go. That's why you're here, right?
That's why I'm here.
All right.
We're very lucky to have her, too.
I have heard there's an election come this November. Is any truth to that?
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's big news to a lot of people. No. Obviously, we're ramping up for the general election that everyone's heard a lot about for the last 2 or 3 months. Big news for Wayne County and North Carolina in general is the issue of voter ID. On July 29th, the 4th District Court of Appeals repealed the voter ID laws that were standing prior to this. We did actually conduct an election in North Carolina in March and June. Some counties also did in June under the new voter ID laws. And we're very happy to say it went very well.
Right.
We had little to no problems here in Wayne County. Everybody came with their IDs, and we did a lot of public training prior to that.
Right.
And it went very well, and we're happy that things went the way they did. But unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on however you see it, the courts decided there was some issues with the law itself. And I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about that specifically, but it wasn't simply the fact that we were asking for ID. It was probably more to do with the nuances of the ID laws, the types of IDs, and things like that that the courts were looking at.
You and I have talked about this, and it seemed to be pretty cut and dry. There was very little question about what would be accepted. In my eyes, of course, you know, I'm only a voter, but there seemed to be very little question about any of it. It seemed to be pretty straightforward. But apparently somebody saw it differently.
Apparently. I guess there's a lot of lawyers involved and things that I don't get involved with, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But it's our job to follow the law, and we have been instructed by the courts and the State Board of Elections to change everything we have worked on the last 3 years.
Well, we won't get into the politics of it, and most people know how my politics run anyway, so it's, we'll just leave it where it is right now and hope they change it back. I didn't say that, but there has to be a reason that somebody saw to change it. Of course, that's what we do in this country. Somebody sees a problem, what they feel may be a problem, they try to correct it. We want the best possible process we can get.
I agree, Wayne, and let me just say a couple of things about voter registration, ID laws in regards to North Carolina in general. We have always required voters to provide us with identifications, whether it be a social security number, a driver's license number, physical address, of course your ballot style and the names on your ballot come from your physical address. So we have always had a process to make sure that people who vote only vote once and are a legitimate registered voter in Wayne County. Nothing's going to change. That process will remain the same. You'll still be required to provide us with enough information in order to document you as legitimate registered voter.
And this is at time of registration.
That's correct.
Okay.
And speaking of that, you'll be able to register like you did in the past, same-day registration during early voting. So there's really no reason that should keep you out of the polls on election day or prior to it during early voting. The only difference is now you don't have to show a photo ID. You're still required to provide us with registration. So a lot of this stuff you've been hearing on TV about people voting 10 times, that sounds nice and looks nice for politicians, but it don't happen.
Well, the old joke is vote early and vote often. And if I hear it one more time, I'm just going to throw something.
That's what they say.
But of course, that's not the case. You don't vote often. You don't vote often at all.
No, sir,
you vote
absolutely.
early.
That's right.
Dane, the point is that you register one time, and then you vote at that time. If you continue to vote in regular elections, you do not have to re-register.
That's correct. So as long as you're an active registered voter and you vote in at least one federal or state election every 4 years?
Every 8 years.
8 years. See, that's why I got Annie. She keeps my numbers straight. Thank you very much. As long as you do it every 8 years, then you'll be a registered voter and you can walk into the precinct or early voting site and cast your ballot. Again, whether or not an ID is required, it still won't prevent you from voting.
And once you're outside that 8-year window, you have to re-register at that point.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
If it's been 8 years and you've been moved to the inactive list, and you show up and your information is still in there, it really depends on how long it was.
Okay.
Once you confirm your address, you still live at the same place, it's just been 8 years since you voted, we can reactivate you really simple without re-registering.
Okay, well that's good.
As long as nothing's changed with your information.
I have a feeling that this coming election in November, there will be people who have not voted in some time, and that's a good thing, providing they do their homework and know for whom they're voting.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, Ann, tell us about the upcoming election and what we need to know about it.
Well, the upcoming election, the voter registration deadline for this election is October 14th. That's if you're going to vote on election day itself.
Okay.
If you fail to meet that deadline, you can still come into any of our early voting sites, register to vote, and vote at the same time.
And when does that begin?
That begins October 20th and runs through November 5th.
So let me make sure I got that now. So if you're going to vote on election day, November 8th,
Correct.
then you must register on
By
by
by 5 p.m. on
by 5
October
p.m. October
14th.
14th. You can do that now. You can do
That's
that
right.
anytime.
You can
Can you register online?
You can download a registration form from our website or from the state board's website, but you still have to sign it and get it back to us with your original signature. So we don't have a true online registration process right now,
That's good.
but you can get the forms you need and just pop it in the mail and mail it to us, and we'll take care of it.
All right, providing they have the proper identification.
Right. And even if you don't provide us with everything you need, we do follow-up mailings. And then if you show up on election day and we've not been able to verify your information, you can bring it with you to the
Okay.
polls.
Good.
And being, when I say it's any kind of a document that has your name and current address where you live. So we're looking for information to prove you are who you are and you live where you say you live. All those things that people's telling you we don't do, we actually do.
You actually
Yes,
do.
sir.
Amazing. Wow.
And that's an important difference, is that some voters will be asked to show ID, HAVA ID, at the polls, but only for the purposes of verifying their registration.
Okay.
Because they didn't do it initially.
Right. Now, early voting begins October 20th, and people can register while they're voting on the same day.
Correct,
Register first, and then the same day they can vote.
correct.
You cannot do that if you plan on voting on election day.
That's correct.
But now it runs through November 5th, I think you said.
Early
voting does. Now, what's the difference there? That's a little longer time, isn't it?
It is. The early voting laws were rescinded along with the voter ID laws.
Okay.
The bill that was passed reduced our early voting from 17 days to 10. At the same time, it implemented voter ID requirements. So now we're going back and putting things back like they were, so we will be able to vote for 17 days. We're meeting tomorrow with our board to finalize our early voting plan, and the sites and locations and times will still be up until they put their signature on it tomorrow, up in the air, but the fact that it'll be 17 days, that's written in law.
Okay.
So 17 days is a long time.
That is a long time. That's over 2 weeks.
That's right.
Easily over 2 weeks.
And we will be opening on Saturdays and Sundays.
Right. 10 days is a long time,
10 days is,
but somebody decided 17 is the way to go. But where are the polling places?
Annie, you want to answer that for me?
How many are there, first of all?
Right. We have
For early voting.
For early voting, we're going to be voting at the Board of Elections office, our office on South William Street, the Goldsboro Worship Center, that's on New Hope Road,
Right.
the Mount Olive Train Depot down in Mount Olive,
Right.
Little
the
River.
Fremont Town Hall,
Fremont.
Little River
Okay.
Shopping Center. Is that the rest of them?
You said New Hope.
And New Hope Friends Church
New Hope
out
Friends
on
Church.
Highway
Okay.
70 East.
So is that 5 or 6?
That is 6.
6. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
We've covered the entire county.
Covered everybody. So there's a polling place easily within a short period of time from all of Wayne County.
That's right, Wayne, and we really want to encourage people to vote early and avoid the lines on election day. There's really no reason. You got 17 days, and if that
right.
doesn't work out for you, we've got another process we would like to
Oh,
offer.
really?
Right.
Absentee voting.
Oh, yes,
I'll let
absentee.
Annie describe that for us.
What is an absentee ballot?
Well, North Carolina has no excuse absentee balloting. You don't have to have an excuse to request an absentee ballot. You just simply fill out the North Carolina absentee request form, mail it to us. We verify you in the system, and then we mail you out an absentee ballot
So all you have to do is say, I'd like to have an absentee ballot
on the
Pretty much.
official form.
on the
correct.
official form. You have to say that on the official form,
Right,
which you can download off the internet.
off of our website.
Okay.
And then we'll start mailing out absentee ballots September 9th. So you can be one of the first people to vote in this election.
Okay. So there's a lot of advantages to voting early. You mentioned long lines. You get to avoid the long lines.
That's right. And we have identified in Wayne County a fairly large population of people who have trouble getting out of the house and standing in lines and just navigating the general obstacles to casting a ballot, whether it be lines or accessing a building or even just transportation.
And I believe that was one of the arguments for the party who was, not the party, I'm sorry, but the persons who were saying that the laws as they changed to from 17 to 10 days, have to show a voter ID. That was their argument, that people couldn't get out of the house
To get the
IDs.
documents they needed to
But they didn't have to get
acquire
out
a
of the
legal ID. That's true, and that's a good point, Wayne. Absentee voting, to me, we're kind of trying to make it simpler, and I've been saying vote by mail.
Yeah.
Because that's really
That's
what
what
you're
it
doing.
is.
You're
Right.
voting
You're
by
voting by-
mail, and you get to vote in the comfort of your home. And I vote by mail.
Do you?
Because I like to do the research. I can sit down with my ballot and put these people's names in my computer and see things, and learn and educate myself while I'm casting my ballot. And in addition to that, obviously, for people that have disabilities that can't get out, you don't have to struggle trying to find, transportation, trying to get out in the heat or the cold. Vote right there at your kitchen table. The only thing you're going to have to do is put a stamp on the envelope, and it may take a couple of stamps
2 stamps.
because we're using a rather large envelope to keep your ballot in good shape, so it reads well in the machines.
Right.
And then when it gets back to us and Annie gets done processing them, it goes in, you get your voter history gets registered for voting. And then we actually have board meetings where we feed those ballots into the tabulator. So some people's indicated that they're a little bit concerned about what happens to their ballot when they vote absentee. But I've tell them, if you're concerned, you're welcome to come down and watch us. We have an open meeting, and your name will be announced in that meeting on a list, and your ballot will be presented and fed in the machine right there in front of everybody.
So all the absentee ballots come to one location, and as the envelopes are open, now when are the envelopes open?
They're opened on our regularly scheduled board meetings, which occur every, how often, Annie?
About every 2 weeks
About every
prior
2 weeks.
to election day.
So a vote by mail ballot would come to you, and you'd open it at the board meeting, and the name announced.
The board will open the ballot packets themselves.
Okay.
They don't correlate the name with this ballot. There's no announcement of
Oh, I
who
see.
you voted
But they
for
read
or
a
anything
list.
like that. Right.
Oh, okay.
Just certifying that this individual has voted
Has sent
via
in
the
a-
mail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we maintain your secrecy.
Okay.
That's what she's
So
talking about.
you read a list of names rather
Right.
than associating the name
Right.
with the particular
Right.
ballot.
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So you'll know that in that stack of ballots was your ballot was part of
Okay.
that.
What's wrong with that?
Well, I think it's a great process.
great
I like it,
process,
and a lot of people do. And I encourage Wayne County residents, voters, to make use of our absentee process, and especially if you have elderly parents or stuff that's struggled with getting out to vote. This is your best option. You can give us a call at our office at 919-731-1411. And we will help you get that document you need to request an absentee ballot.
Okay. Wow. Absentee ballots, early voting. This sure sounds like it's an easy way to get your vote out, to get your vote done.
We do. We have a lot of processes that we work on. Our job here is to serve the public of Wayne County, the voting public, and I have a great staff, Wayne,
Yes, you do.
who go out of their way constantly to provide a good quality service to Wayne County, and I'm very proud of them. And I would like to invite you down anytime to our office if you have questions or concerns. If you see something on TV that makes you feel uncomfortable and you want to find out the truth, come down and talk to us or give us a call, and we'll work with you on that.
That's so true. You have an open door that people can just come in and talk to you about a problem that they are concerned they have.
That's right.
And all too often you'll hear, "Oh, I'm not going down there because they don't want to hear me anyway," or something like that. but
Well,
that's not the case.
No, not at all, Wayne. We take every voter seriously. Every concern is very seriously. The right to vote is a very important right, and that's our job to make sure that we maintain that for you. And we will do everything in our power to make sure that happens.
Let's talk about one more thing here very quickly. Ann, tell me about provisional ballots. What are provisional ballots?
Provisional ballots are ballots that are cast because there was some issue with the voter when they presented to vote. Maybe they're not registered, maybe they are not in the correct precinct, maybe they don't have the correct HAVA documentation, they never verified
What's
their...
a HAVA document?
A HAVA document is, it's based on the Help America Vote Act, and it is the way that we verify...
H-A-V-A, HAVA. Got it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The HAVA document, now when you fill out a voter registration, you're going to put either your last four of your social security number or your North Carolina driver's license number. That information is verified in our system as being compatible with your birth date and with your name.
Okay.
If you didn't do that when you initially registered, you may be required to show a HAVA document when you present to vote for the first time.
I see.
So if you haven't done that, you may be required to vote a provisional ballot. So there's a variety of reasons why we may not be able to give you a regular ballot that you can put in the tabulator that day.
So how is that handled differently? How do you count the provisional ballots?
The provisional ballot process is something that was implemented a few years ago in order to make sure that no one walks out of a polling place without being given the opportunity to cast their ballot.
Okay.
So a provisional ballot is the same ballot that you would cast normally, except instead of going into the tabulator, it goes into an envelope. And once it comes back to our office, we do the research on it to determine why exactly you weren't in our system, or your registration wasn't up to date, or whatever the issue is. We're going to do the research. Then we present those ballots to our board, and the final ruling comes from our board. And so the three board members, bipartisan team, look at the ballot, it's the envelope and the reasons behind it, and they make a determination right then and there, is this ballot going to count or not? And also maybe partially count. Because also, along with the new ID laws, we have a partial ballot count. And that is designed so that if you show up in the wrong precinct, or not on election day, and you go to a precinct, but it's not your assigned precinct, then you are allowed to vote a provisional ballot, and that ballot may or may not contain names from your districts because you're not in the right place. So we will look at those issues and count the votes that you are allowed to count. For example, county-wide, statewide offices will all be counted, but local offices, if you happen to be out of your district, then that vote would not be counted. And again, the purpose there is to try and make sure that you get to vote as much as possible. Even though you went to the wrong polling place, after you had 17 days of opportunity to vote, we're still going to let you vote, and we're still going to try our best to make sure we can count as much as your ballot as we possibly can.
Now, when someone has a ballot before them, and there's all these names listed, and there's some names that are obvious as to who they are, and you know for whom you wish to vote, then there are some you just don't know who they are, and you haven't done enough research to determine which one is the one that you want to see in that office. You don't have to vote for someone, do you?
That's correct.
You can leave it completely blank.
You can leave it blank. If you don't feel comfortable voting for a particular candidate that you don't know enough about, you don't have to vote. As far as that goes, you don't have to vote for anybody on the ballot. You can leave the entire ballot blank. And I've had that happen on the occasion.
Is that right?
People tell me it's a protest vote.
Oh, for crying out loud.
So you get credit for participating in the election, but you decided that nobody on the ballot
was worthy of your vote. Golly.
Right.
Okay. So, all right. Again, to vote, to register is October
14th by 5 p.m.
By 5 o'clock.
To vote on election day.
Right. And to register to vote in early election, you can vote any day between the 20th and November 5th.
Correct.
And if you go to waynevotes.com, you will find our early voting schedule and directions to the sites on that page.
That's a good point.
We have a lot of good information on waynevotes.com.
A lot of good information.
And you can go there and look up stuff. And like I said before, if you can't find what you need on there, then just pick up the phone and give us a call.
Now, you can go to waynevotes.com, and if you don't know where you vote, can you put your address in there, and
You can.
perhaps that information will come back to you?
There's a little link. It says, "Where do I vote?"
Aha.
And you can look yourself up. You can, verify your address on that site, verify your party representation on that site, find your polling place, and you can also track your absentee ballot on that site.
Really?
Correct.
And does it also show you how to get to that polling place?
It'll give you a map.
It'll give you a map and tell you exactly where it is.
Right.
Gives you a
There
map.
used to be a picture there. Is there a picture also?
There are pictures.
Is it of the
Correct.
polling place itself?
Correct.
Matter of fact, we're updating those as we speak.
Now, tell me about 13.
Precinct 13.
Yes.
We've moved our Precinct 13. What's our new?
The
Urban
new-
Drive, I
The
believe
new
it is.
polling place for Precinct 13 is Free Will Baptist Church,
Okay.
Central Heights Free Will Baptist
Central
Church.
Heights.
Central
Free Will
Heights.
Baptist
Yes.
Church.
And all of those voters in Precinct 13 will receive a new voter registration card at the end of September,
Okay.
alerting them to the fact that their polling place has changed.
Okay.
So,
And we will put up signage in the old site, so in case you still go back to the old one,
Right.
it will direct you
To
to
the
our
new
new site. And it's a great spot. We're really happy with the folks down at that church that are allowing us to vote there. It's a perfect location in Central Heights,
Right.
and they're very happy to have us, and we're very happy to be there.
That's great. All right. What have we left out? Anything? What do we need to pass on now?
one important thing that we left out is
Yes.
we are still in need of precinct officials.
Ah, okay.
So,
Well, what do they do?
Precinct officials are actually the ones who work on election day and facilitate the election. We administrate it, but they facilitate it. They're the ones hands-on, looking voters up, handing out ballots. So if anyone's interested, definitely contact us.
Is this a paid position? Do they
It-
get a stipend?
yeah.
It is paid, yes, sir. Maybe
One
not
day.
as much as we would like to
Well,
pay,
no.
but it is a paid position. It's long hours. It's also a good experience for folks who right now are questioning maybe the process, how it works. Because I tell people that come to our office and say, I heard this and that about the voting, and why don't you sign up as a precinct official and participate in the process? Then you'll see how it really works, because we have about 400 folks in Wayne County who work for us to conduct elections.
Right.
And we're very proud of them, and they give us their time. We give them a little bit of pay, but believe me, it's not worthy of what work they
Oh,
put
I
in.
know. I know. It's an amazing process to watch.
It is.
And these people are all very serious about what they do.
They're very serious, and it takes some serious devotion
It does.
and time. They have to go to class and training, and it's a stressful job too.
Yes.
And it takes a community effort to pull it off.
Right. Okay. Got that covered. Anything else we need to cover?
I think that was
I
it.
think
that
that's
about it?
That's about it.
All right. The Board of Elections office is in the building that has administration across the top, and there's no administration there, just these fine folks. It's the Board of Elections office on South William Street in Goldsboro, just immediately south of the courthouse. And the telephone number, 919-731-1411.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
All right. And the website is go to waynegov.com, click on government, and there you'll find Board of Elections, or just simply go to Board of Elections. What?
Or just go to waynevotes.com.
That's what I meant to say. There you go.
Waynevotes.com.
All right, very good. Well, Dane
Not
Beavers.
WayneAlley.com.
No, don't go to WayneAlley.com. No, they'll arrest you for that. No. Okay, thanks a lot, Dane. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Wayne.
And Ann Risku-Smith,
Thank you.
the associate assistant
It's called the deputy director.
deputy. That's what I meant to say. All right, thanks a lot, folks.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television this Tuesday, the 16th of the month of August, 2016, because you knew it was 2016. But did you know it was August? Probably. Okay, what's special about today?
You are, Wayne.
Oh,
What else?
Oh, shucks. Special about today is the 16th, and that means today is National Airborne Day. Yes! Go Airborne. National Roller Coaster Day is today, not yesterday. Today is also Wave at Surveillance Day.
Hi.
So if you see somebody, looking at you through binoculars or telescope, hi! That kind of thing. Would you do that? Sure, why not? Let them know you're there. We have also Black Cat Appreciation Day.
Oh.
Recently, the Animal Adoption and Education Center had such an abundance of cats, unfortunately, and an overabundance. They actually had a special on black cats.
What was it?
Well, a reduced rate to adopt them.
Oh.
You could get them for about half price.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, to adopt them. And it was successful. So keep your eyes open for that again. If you're looking for a forever friend in your household, a new family member, that would be the thing to do. Is get
That would
yourself a
be.
cat or a dog from the Animal Adoption and Education Center. Okay, see what else we have here. Dum, 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 dum. Well, now this is the off week for the Center Street Jam. Blake Kearney was there last week. Next week, we got the Malpas Brothers.
That's right.
Oh, boy. Love those guys.
That's right. So hopefully the weather will hold out. This past week was not exactly perfect.
Not exactly.
It looked hopeful at the beginning, but then it rained.
It rained. It did rain.
It
did
rained.
rain, yes. Let's see here. Yes. Today's trivia question. Pardon me, my cable is loose. Well, it was
Happens all the time.
Sure it does. Looky here. If I said to you, name, where do you know the name Zelda from best? Not Dobie Gillis, another one. That would be from a novel written by F. Scott Fitzgerald, right? F. Scott Fitzgerald was named, his name was for a very, very famous American, F. Scott Fitzgerald. For whom, what famous American gave his name, well, he borrowed it, to F. Scott Fitzgerald? F. Scott Fitzgerald, a noted American author from the early 1900s. Several movies made. The Great Gatsby was an inspiration from one of F. Scott Fitzgerald's novels. But he has a very famous name, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it was named after a famous American in the early days of our nation. Tell me who that was. That's the question for today.
Okay.
You will be surprised.
Yeah, I can't even guess.
But you will be surprised
Okay.
because everybody knows this person.
So stay tuned.
Scott Gibson, who's a physical therapist out at the hospital. No, that's not right either.
I was like, what?
No. Sorry, Scott. Just kidding around. No, F. Scott Fitzgerald was named after what famous relative of his?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, we talked
We'll
about that?
see.
We did
We
talk about
did.
it. All right, scavenger hunt on the 31st, Beak Week, coming to Goldsboro, Wayne County. Beak Week, and the scavenger hunt starts on the 31st. You can get information and details from the artsinwayne.org website.
That's
Okay?
right.
We'll go back to our program. Interview up next here on Wayne Goldsboro Television. In our Crime Stoppers segment this week, we welcome Investigator Eric Goins from the Goldsboro Police Department. How you doing?
Good. Hope you are.
Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Paige couldn't be here, Sergeant Lerner couldn't be here, but we want to talk about a crime that's occurred, and maybe someone watching will have information that they can call or send to Crime Stoppers about this crime. Now, this is not an uncommon occurrence. This happens more often than we'd like to think, but tell us about the crime of the week this week.
Unfortunately, you're right. It does happen all too often. This is a common law robbery that happened in the 1100 block of Maple Street. It happened just before midnight on the 4th of August. The victim in this case had advertised the product online to sell, and I believe it was Craigslist. And the arrangements were made between him and the person who would later be labeled as a suspect in the case the arrangements were to meet him at the Sheets on Spence Avenue in Goldsboro.
Right.
And when he got there, there was an agreement for the suspect to get in the vehicle with the victim and drive to another address. I believe 1113 Maple Street was the address that they were going to drive to. It sounds as though maybe the arrangements were for him to get money from that address and make the purchase there. Nonetheless, what happened, when he got there, the victim got out of the car, and a second suspect ran from behind a set of bushes and tackled the victim.
Wow. Now that sounds like either they were followed, because he certainly wouldn't have known the address ahead of time.
I'm quite unsure, to tell you the truth. It sounds to me as though this second suspect was already there. The two suspects had probably already arranged it. It's the way it sounds to me. We're still seeking leads in the case, so a lot of times these things are subject to change, but it looks as though he knew that the other suspect was going to be coming back with the victim. He was hiding in the bushes, and when they got there and the victim got out of the car, he jumped out of the bushes and tackled him. Once he got the victim on the ground, the two suspects took his Xbox, the merchandise that he was selling, and then they started to run away.
Wow.
The suspects were described as, I think one was a approximately 6 foot tall black male, wearing all black clothing. The other suspect was described as maybe around 5'10", wearing baggy clothing. And when they ran away, we understand from the report file that the victim actually pursued them and began to chase them on foot.
Really?
And at that point, they turned around and started assaulting him again. So, very unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. So what's an Xbox worth? Is it worth getting beat up over? Two big guys turning, and well, who knows what goes through somebody's mind. So recapping this, he had a product for sale, and he met He met a guy at Sheets, at a Sheets service station, which is a good way to handle this.
It's nighttime. It's well lit. You would think. The point in which he decided to go to another location with
was the mistake.
That was the mistake.
So what would you suggest? Should he have brought the merchandise with him?
Well, for starters, I would be skeptical from the beginning of making a transaction with somebody you've essentially met online, is what's happened.
Yeah.
Never fully trust anybody and take a lot of other things in consideration. Most importantly, the location. If you have to meet them at night, meet them in a well-lit area.
Right.
Certainly don't relocate yourself to an unfamiliar area.
And certainly that Sheets location was a good location.
And there would more than likely be other people around, potential witnesses and that thing. Ideally, I would suggest the daytime would be a much better option.
Yes.
I mean, this is almost midnight. And so it's not the
what
best
time of the day was this?
This was 11:15 at night.
Well, that's not smart.
It would have been more wise to meet them during the daytime.
That's my opinion, of course.
Certainly.
That is not smart.
And you know, when you're dealing with somebody online, they can purport themselves to be anybody.
Sure.
You never know who you're coming into contact with.
You say, hey, my name is Gladys. You know, you could be anybody.
Yeah. And certainly don't put yourself in a vehicle that you're not familiar with. Don't put yourself in a residence that you're not familiar with.
Right.
I would even caution you, even if you're just selling your lawnmower out of your garage, don't necessarily invite somebody to your home, because now they know where you live. And, and again, you just don't know who you're meeting on the internet. I would actually strongly encourage people to meet at your local law enforcement agency.
That's a good idea.
I feel confident saying the sheriff himself probably would not have a problem with that, and I know that the police department would certainly allow that. If you've got to make a transaction, there's nothing wrong with meeting in the parking lot or somewhere in the vicinity where there's a police department and a lot of police cars.
No, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And I know that, speaking on behalf of the police department, we would actually encourage people to meet somewhere, say on John Street or in that area.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good idea. Where there are a lot of people, you want to meet in the daytime, and in the parking lot of the sheriff's office or the police department, where there's obviously law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
That's a great idea.
And other people around.
All right, so if anyone has any information, regardless of how small that information may be, you can contact Investigator Goins. And how do they contact you?
They can contact me at 580-4203, it's 919 area code, or they can call Crime Stoppers.
And that number is 919-735-2255. 919-735-2255, or you can text. And that number is 919-222-4230, 222-4230. All right. Investigator Eric Goins of the Goldsboro Police Department with a robbery here. Would this is considered a this is not an armed robbery?
This is considered a
an
common
assault.
law robbery.
Common law robbery.
And so the elements of the crime are different.
Okay.
So
All right. Very good. Investigator Goins, thank you so much for being with us.
it's always my pleasure.
All right. We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you. You know, there's a big event coming up this Saturday at Waynesboro Park. Waynesboro Park. And what be going on out there? I'll be telling you. That's right. It is National Honeybee Day celebration. National Honeybee Day be happening out at Waynesboro Park this Saturday. Everything begins at 9 o'clock and goes till 3. It is almost a full half day of, that didn't sound right, did it? Anyway, so lots of stuff going on all day from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Waynesboro Park. National Honeybee Day celebration. Something for everyone. Listen to this. Observation hive that actually contains bees. Equipment for beekeeping. You can learn what you need to keep bees. Beekeepers will be there to answer your questions. There will be sales of honey. Woo, I love some honey. The Eastern North Carolina Vintage Farm Equipment will be on display. And you know, we did a story on those guys last year out at the regional fairgrounds. You talk about some fascinating old farm equipment. I love the old tractors and the old little engines that run. And they said they could. They said they could. Anyway, they're at Eastern North Carolina Vintage Farm Equipment. Master Gardeners will also be at Waynesboro Park that day. There'll be face painting and candle making. There'll be unique food vendors. Or maybe that's unique food by vendors. Or is it unique food vendors? I don't know.
Unique food vendors.
Oh, okay. Homemade ice cream. Oh, boy. A scavenger hunt and live music by Empty Pockets. I can relate to that name.
I like it.
I like that
it.
too. Empty Pockets will be there performing. There will be a Beehive Children's Activity Center. And this is all hosted by our friends from the Beekeepers of the Noose. Beekeepers of the Noose. They were with us last week and told us all about this. If you want information, you can request information from the Beekeepers of the Noose. Now, they have a Facebook page, but the thing you need to do is go to their email address is noosebeekeeper@gmail.com. noosebeekeeper@gmail.com. They've got all kinds of great information for you.
That's right.
There, and that is so much fun.
It really is. This is an incredible organization. And we had one of the representatives from Beekeepers of the Noose come to the Goldsboro Rotary Club sometime this past year. And I'm telling you, that program was so insightful. If you, at your home or place of work, or you hear somebody that says, you know, I've got a nuisance, a beehive was formed at my house, please don't destroy it.
No.
Contact them. And they will walk you through it, or they will send somebody out to get it.
They'll send somebody out.
This is serious business. And it was great having her come in and share with us that there's so many health benefits to honey.
Ooh,
I have
yeah.
honey every day, and
Do you really?
and I have local honey from somebody that has beehives. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Now, I don't have any interest in doing it because bees kind of freak me out, but
Do
I'm
they really?
so thankful that they do the work that they do.
Bees are not aggressive. People think that bees are going to be chasing you.
No.
Honeybees are not aggressive.
No.
Others are wasps and hornets. They're aggressive. Honeybees are not aggressive. They will leave you alone if you leave them alone.
Yeah.
And the
they're
thing
just
about
trying to do
honeybees,
their work.
they know that if they sting you, they're going to die.
Yeah.
Just think about that. So they will try to avoid you, in fact. Honeybees are great. And
fascinating.
Without honeybees, let me tell you something. Without honeybees, you would not be eating dinner tonight or lunch tomorrow or breakfast.
Isn't that wild? So
That is
bring your
wild.
family out. It'll be a great event. I know we're going to be out there with our little ones so they can learn and have some fun activity. And it's all day. It's from 9 to 3. So you can go out there for a little bit of time. You can spend your whole day out there.
That's right.
It's up to you.
903. They're also on Facebook at Beekeepers of the Noose. Facebook.com, Beekeepers of the Noose. Okay, here's the answer to today's trivia question, and everybody knows this person. F. Scott Fitzgerald had a famous American ancestor, and F. Scott Fitzgerald was named for that American ancestor. F. Scott Fitzgerald's first name was Francis. Francis Scott.
I'm not. You go ahead.
Francis Scott Key, who wrote the words to our national anthem.
This is one of those moments where I'm going, aha.
Daha.
Wow.
Yeah, Francis Scott Key's ancestor was, F. Scott Fitzgerald's ancestor was Francis Scott Key. How about that?
Wow.
And he was named for him.
Wow.
There you go. There you go. And
You're right.
that's
Everybody knows that. That's
probably going to wrap it up for today. What do you think?
Yes.
Let's do this tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday. The show airs at 7 a.m. in the morning, and then it repeats at noon, then it repeats again at 5:30 p.m. So until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.